the best, worst podcast you've ever heard. And now, The Ronnie and Bo Show, brought to you by Prescott Realty.
Yeehaw! What are you doing?
The Prescott is taken over.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got my saddle and my chaps. And
Prescott is the podcast universe of the world. You know? The podcast capital of the world.
It revolves around us.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And this podcast in particular, the Ronnie and Bo Show.
Brought to you by Prescott Realty.
Yep.
2 offices to serve, downtown Prescott and Williamson Valley.
Yeah, and you can give them we can call them, right? We can call them. We can
give 'em a
email
call.
them. We can, go to their website, prescottrealty.com.
Yes.
Their phone number is 928-499-8700. And you can give them a call, and they will help you out. Wait a minute.
You told me to call them, didn't you?
Bo.
What? Is that not what you wanted me to do?
Come on.
Huh?
Are you seriously calling?
Well, you just said I could call them.
Hi, you've reached Lorinda at Prescott Realty. I'm sorry I can't take your call right now, but if you leave me your name and number, I'll call you back just as quickly as I can. If you need immediate assistance, you can call my partner, John Rocha, at 928-851-4500. Thanks, and I'll get back to you just as quick as I can.
She's probably showing a house right now.
At the tone, please
Probably.
record your message.
Yes.
When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Lucinda.
Lorinda.
Lucinda.
You don't even know her name.
Lorinda, we were calling. It's the Ronnie and Bo Show.
And we're recording a podcast right now.
Yeah.
And where are you?
Yeah, you're helping clients all over the Quad City area. We got your voicemail.
And I don't want to call John. I want to talk to you only because I love you more than John.
We can hardly constitute this as an emergency.
That's right.
That's
true.
But we just wanted to say we love you, Lorinda, and thank you for all that you do.
Sponsoring our show.
Yeah, for the Ronnie and Bo Show. So thanks, Lorinda. Awesome. I like that. She'll like that, won't she?
I think so.
It's good. Thanks so much for leaving a rating or a review wherever you happen to listen to our podcast. And you can get a hold of some of our merchandise at the Ronnie and Bo Facebook shop. And we'd love to connect with you, too, on our social media platforms. So thanks so much for being with us today.
So, Ronnie, we got a real fun guest today.
I know. She's a legend in our community.
She really is, and she's got an incredible news background. Without further ado, it's Lynne LaMaster. Hello, Lynn.
Hello.
Yay, Lynn.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Always nice to be here. So.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So I've known Lynn for many years. She's the founder and the editor and the reporter and the bookkeeper.
And the photographer.
And the photographer
Yeah.
of
And the videographer, yeah.
Everything, right? The one-woman band of eNews. We know Prescott eNews, and then you've expanded to Chino Valley eNews, Prescott Valley eNews, but the Northern Arizona eNews brand, right?
Right, and we also have eNewsAZ, which is our statewide site.
Oh, that's so great.
So, the goal is eventually to have an eNews site in every community in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
So then they would all report to eNewsAZ eventually. And so if somebody wanted to, they could go to eNewsAZ to see all the state news. But if they want to see their local news, then they would go to their local site. We're not quite there yet, but we have the site, the eNewsAZ site set up with communities.
That's so great. You're already making a huge impact right here in Prescott. I feel like the reach of that has already been such a huge blessing. Mm-hmm. That's so cool. I bump into you sometimes when you go to the City of Prescott meetings, and I'll see you there reporting, or you're all over the place.
Well, and, a lot of times people will refer to us as a newspaper.
Yeah.
Online, but we're not. We're we like to say we're an online multimedia news site because
great.
It's pretty hard to take a video and put it in a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And plus we don't have to worry about column inches. We don't have to worry about, people will ask frequently, well, if I write something for you, how long can it be? And my answer is, as long as you think people will read.
Yeah.
So Lynn, you have a background in news or reporting. I know that your father was on the radio news side, right?
Yes, he was.
Was that an inspiration to you to get into this type of work?
It was. to be honest with you, I don't really care for women's voices on the radio frequently,
No?
especially mine. That's why I didn't go into radio. But I tagged along with my dad to various meetings and news events and interviews.
Oh, that's so
As a
cool.
kid, I used to get up early and go to work with him and play in the bomb shelter.
And where was that?
Up in
Where-
Ukiah,
Oh,
in
wow.
California.
Yeah.
So KUKI
Yeah.
was the name of the radio station. And so while he was off, he opened the station at 6 a.m, so we'd have to get there about 4:30.
Wow.
And I'd go play, like I said, I played in the bomb shelter and played
Of the radio
records
station.
and pretend, and he was doing his news. And then he would do a morning show pretty much till about 10 or so in the morning. Come back, do a noon newscast from 12 to 12:30. Come back and do a 5 to 5:30 newscast.
Wow.
And then cover everything in between and afterwards. So,
Yep. You saw all aspects of
I
it.
did.
Yeah.
I even helped him do some commercials as a kid. I remember one was for a men's store, and he would go through and tell what was on sale. And then at the end, I'd say, "Sing me a song, Daddy," and he'd sing at McNabb's or something. I don't remember the name of the store.
So he
you
would
know?
sing their jingle or whatever,
Yeah.
their tagline.
That's right.
Oh, that's
So,
cute. That's great.
Did you know then, as a young girl, that I don't know, at least you had an interest in that field, that you'd want to pursue it?
Yes, but
or are you in it because it was around the dinner table?
no, I was going to be a teacher.
Okay.
An elementary school teacher, and then I discovered, or I realized, that I'd have to teach math and science, and that was a bad idea.
I get
So,
that. I agree.
So I went ahead and switched my major to journalism in college.
Awesome.
I didn't finish college
Yeah.
because of various things that happened in my life, but I did take 2 years of journalism in college.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, following my dad was really good in teaching me like journalistic ethics,
Yeah.
being respectful. If somebody asked you to embargo a story,
Yeah.
he was very tight on that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
That's great.
So embargo a story means to hold the story until
Yes.
things whatever, right?
And so he had a lot of
Don't scoop, in other words.
That's
Or don't-
right.
Don't try to. Okay.
he had a lot of trust in the community because of that. And
I feel like a lot of that's gone out the window in the recent years.
And I've always tried to respect that,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating sometimes when you see other media covering the story you were
Right.
asked to hold,
Yes.
but I still do it.
Yeah,
I hold.
your integrity will pay off.
But
in the long run.
you know, we were talking a couple of weeks ago in person, and you mentioned I don't know if there was a specific example, but you were sharing that story with me, and you said in some cases some people don't hold it when they're asked to hold it, and they race to be the first, and there can be a problem with that. Sometimes
there's
they can be
consequences.
as inaccurate as they don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. There was a story a couple of years ago about a couple of people who were murdered in the community. And I had several people calling me, "Aren't you going to cover this?" And I said, "I haven't received anything official, and I don't
Yes.
consider
Oh,
Facebook
yeah.
to be an official source.
Right.
And so I'm going to hold it." And other media in town did cover it. They said that the people had been shot. Turned out they had been stabbed instead. And but when I got my official thing, then I published it, and
Yeah.
and it was accurate. And I mean, I love being first, and I get
course,
a
yeah.
lot of first stories in the community and nationally.
Yeah. A lot of that's probably because they know they can trust you, and
Right.
yep.
You
But
build a reputation, right?
Yeah.
But I would rather be right than first.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
if I'm not positive of the information and it hasn't been verified, I won't run it.
Yeah. That's
So
great.
So we talked about your dad being a radio newsman, and you sort of following in his footsteps. How did you get your first job? I mean, in that business. I mean, in news stuff. I mean, were you doing it in college? Did you?
Well, I mean, I did take some courses in college. I took 2 years of journalism while
Yeah.
I was in college, but I actually
I mean, in other words, if you're going to get into it, do you just knock on a door and try to get a job somewhere, or no?
no. What happened was fast forward a little bit through my life. I ended up getting married.
Yeah.
I had 8 kids.
Yeah. Wow.
I needed to take care of my family.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find work that I could do at home with the kids and to flex. So I ended up going into web design and graphic arts. And that's a very long story. So, but I had an all positive news website that I was managing for a client that was national. Yeah. But I was very frustrated in the local community because I thought the online news content was not good locally. Right. And I thought, I do website design. I'm just going to put a site up and see. Neat. And so I did. I put a website up. I went to the city of Prescott, and I said, I'm starting a new news site. And they said, okay, the press sits there. I was like, man, that was easy.
That's fantastic.
And so that's kind of how I got started.
That's so great.
And eventually that became more intense than the website design and the graphic arts, and I made more money doing website design and graphic arts than I do doing this, but it's kind of a passion.
You really filled a need, and that you're entrepreneurial there. You are breaking new ground, and such good timing too for the eNews side of stuff as compared to print, and that's just so much more where we're at today.
Well, and I think because of the fact that I come actually more from a technology background than I do from an official journalism background.
Even though your education
I was able to utilize technology where I didn't have as large of a staff and I didn't have as many resources, but I could utilize technology to do things that traditional media sometimes take 3 or 4 people to do, and I could do it on my own. Wow. And that really helped. When I first started, none of the local media understood technology. And most of them didn't even have websites.
Right, I bet. Yeah.
And, and so eventually I got to the point where I partnered with Sanford Cohen with Q&A. And we have a very loose collaboration. I do my thing, he does his thing, and we share. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And we've just, I have kind of a sense for what I think is news. And I follow that. Yeah. And there we go.
That's great. Lynn, how long have you been in the Prescott area?
Oh, we moved here in 87.
Awesome. So you've seen a lot of the growth and changes.
Well, and my grandmother moved here in the late 30s.
Awesome.
So we came and visited her also. So we've seen really a lot. I remember when there were still boroughs in Jerome.
Wow. That's fantastic. That's good. And you've got 8 kids?
We have 8 children.
Yeah. What are the age span on your kids?
Right now we have from 20 to 31.
Wow.
And 7 boys, 1 girl.
Wow.
And our daughter is the youngest.
Yeah.
And we have many people who will say she's so lucky to have 7 older brothers to take care of her. And I am quick to tell them she doesn't need it. Yeah. She's the feistiest one of the bunch. She's the only one of our kids who ever got sent to the principal for punching somebody.
Oh, wow. There you go. She had to learn how to fend for herself, didn't she?
Yes, we said, well, why? Why did you do this? And she said, he wouldn't get out of my personal bubble. I told him to move, and he wouldn't move, so I punched him. And her dad was saying, yes. Yeah, that's right. And I'm saying, no. We got to find a better way to negotiate these things.
That's great.
So,
are they all moved on to other areas, or some of them still here, or...
Nobody lives in Prescott.
Okay.
We have 6 in Arizona and then 1 in Indiana, who's a pastor, actually, and another son in Ohio.
Awesome. Yeah, that's
great. So Lynn, back to news. You and I talked a couple of weeks ago, again in person, about describe to us about having a story picked up nationally or statewide. It's got to feel great, but what goes into that, and what determines? Share some stories about those kind of incidences.
Well, we've had a variety of stories picked up nationally, and of course it's great for our traffic and our stats and that sort of thing. One of the first ones that was picked up nationally was, we broke the James Ray story. Wow. And so that was a big one. But one of the ones that was kind of, in a way, the most fun to break was Joe the plumber came out to campaign for Lori Klein. And he did a couple of events in the community.
Yeah.
And on more than one occasion, he said, build the darn fence and start shooting.
Oh.
And
I covered that.
That's a soundbite that you
Yeah.
don't necessarily want to.
not only did
to
I
be
cover
known
it,
for.
I had it on video.
Wow.
And so I just I published the whole video. I like to publish things in context.
Right.
You know, I went to Biola University,
Yeah.
and I learned a lot about taking things out of context
Yes.
from, you know, especially
Yeah.
Bible verses, that
Right,
sort of thing.
exactly.
So I kind of apply that to news.
Right.
So I had AP, CNN, NBC, ABC, everybody, you know, calling and saying, can we use that? Because Joe the plumber was a national figure at the
Right.
time. And for him to come from another state into Arizona and make that statement was kind of inappropriate in my
Right.
mind. What I thought was really interesting is there were other media there.
Wow.
Nobody else picked up on it.
Oh.
Wow.
It's like,
Yeah, that hit
that
your
didn't get your
radar.
attention,
Yeah.
you know?
And you're the one getting national attention because everybody thought that was as important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had some of the national news media ask me, did you edit this tape? Did you doctor it? And I said, nope, full thing. They said, well, we can tell.
Yeah.
You know, so that was one of the ones that we did. Of course, we did a lot of coverage when the firefighters died.
Yeah.
One of the other really interesting ones that was picked up by Drudge. See, now I would have thought
yeah.
Drudge would have picked up the Joe the plumber story.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
right.
a perfect
That's
Drudge story.
report deal, yeah.
And he didn't. And I even
Wow.
sent it to him because
Yeah.
it just seemed so Drudge-like,
Yeah.
you know. So instead I had a story that the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office put out a press release about somebody who was raising like 500 rats down in Black Canyon City, and they had paid somebody to feed them, take care of them. But then they stopped paying them to feed them, take care of them. So he stopped feeding them and taking care of them, and many of them perished. And so
In
then
this house or wherever.
then the neighbors started complaining that it smelled so bad, and so then it was investigated, and people were charged with animal abuse and sort of thing. Drudge picked up that story,
Oh, how funny.
and we got over 80,000 views on that one story. Thank you, Mr. Drudge. We'll take that any day.
Yeah, exactly. That's fantastic.
So those are just a couple of
those,
examples.
Those are great stories, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's such a diversity then, especially. I mean, I've only been in town for 6 years, and from the Yarnell, the 19 firefighters, to Kayla Mueller, to some different family tragedies and little kids going through rough stuff. I mean, all the way to, you know, rats in Black Canyon City. I mean, it's quite the diverse spectrum.
It is, and as I told you, when I first started, I was also managing an all positive news website nationally. But I never intended to be all positive because sometimes news isn't.
Right.
But a lot of times there are silver linings to a story. So probably the first really big story we told was about a young man who was killed in a car accident. And he was a friend of one of my boys. And Matt came home and he said, Mom, he said, Curly was killed in a car accident. And he said, and his mom's a single mom. She can't afford the funeral. And he said, we've decided we're going to raise the money for her funeral. And I said, honey, you know, that's $10,000 at least.
Yeah.
And he said, we're going to raise it. And within 2.5 days, those kids raised $10,000 to help the mom pay for the funeral.
That's fantastic.
And so we told that story from the perspective
There's
of
the
what the kid's
silver
doing,
lining. Yeah.
you know, and yes, it was a tragedy.
Yeah.
And you still see bumper stickers and window stickers on the cars saying, buckle up for Curly. But there was that response to the tragedy that was worth focusing in on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's needed now more than ever. I mean, to have someone with integrity, but that can even investigate out the silver lining and then still be sensitive and still communicate stuff that's really helpful and important for a whole community to know. You do that. So you're such a gift to our whole community, Lynn. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And, you know, I want to give one more little example.
Yeah.
And that is that we just covered the Yavapai County Fair.
Yeah.
And the gal organizing the fair, who's just amazing, and she volunteers about 40 hours a week, no pay, to manage this fair. She said to me, it'd really help if you could come and cover the auction. So I went and I videotaped 2.5 hours of the auction. And I couldn't get my phone, because I videotaped with my phone, I couldn't get it to work right. So the video that I was live streaming on Facebook was sideways. And yet we had over 1,100 people watch that, watch that video sideways. I couldn't believe it. I was stunned. And so when I got home, I redid the video and I uploaded it to YouTube in the correct aspect. And we got another 100 people to watch it. And, you're not going to find a traditional media source doing things like that.
Right.
But we are here to serve the community.
Lynn, I got to try to top that or double up on that. That's what she does. I mean, you can try to be the best, you can try to be the first, and she's competitive and she does that. But she also has a side in her that the other established places don't, where she wants to share with Ronnie and Bo. She wants to share with the fair. She wants to help others. And you've helped us,
just in general.
And you want to put articles on your website, Prescott eNews, and so you just have that gift about you. I'm not being very eloquent, but she really likes to work with people.
True. Yeah,
and it's pretty important. Yeah.
Collaboration's important.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
She really puts that.
It's such a Prescott thing too, and so it's the right person in the right place, Lynn. So that's super good.
So Lynn, by the way, we still need to thank your husband. He helps with the website, Lewis, right? And,
yes.
And you got a cute little story. He was laid up for a little bit, and you said, you know what? I'm going to put you to work.
That's right.
And he contributes in what way? Tell everybody.
He has started a column called Listen Up, and it's a review of podcasts. If you come to my house, you have to get him to take the earbuds out of his ear to talk to him, because he's probably listening to a podcast.
That's so great.
So I said, well, if you can't work, then you're going to work anyway. And so I said, why don't you review some of these podcasts and let people know which ones you like, which you don't like. And so he reviewed the Ronnie and Bo show.
But it was our first review.
That's right. But he does many. He does gardening. He does cooking. He does all types of these podcasts, and he puts a little paragraph, describes it, and explains what he listens to. And how does he grade them? This is the best part.
He ranks them by headset. So it's 1 to 5 headsets, depending on how it is. And every week's a different topic. And so who knows what topic he'll pick next week. So.
It's so helpful because everybody and their brother has podcast now. And so somebody that can sift through and kind of tell which ones should rise to the surface, that's helpful.
Right.
That's good.
So now listen, we want to play a little game with you if you're game for this.
Okay.
Ronnie and Bo have a little feature that we like to do with our guests called Two Truths and a Lie. And basically, we want you to give us 3 statements. Can you do that for us?
Sure.
Okay, we want you to give us 3 statements, and we're going to try to figure out which one is the lie and which ones are true.
Yeah, 2 of them are true, and then 1 of them's a lie. We got to figure it out. We're going to see if you can stump us.
I just thought we call it 2 truths and a lie.
Yeah.
We could call it 1 lie and 2 truths.
That's
true. See how I think?
Yeah, that's true.
You're welcome, Ronnie.
I don't have a very good track record at guessing these, but let's.
I don't know. As a journalist, maybe I should give you 3 truths and see.
Yeah, really, that's true.
All right, so give us 1 statement.
Okay, my mother was Miss Glendale, and then later on she was crowned Miss Arizona in 1955.
Wow, that's a tough one. Okay. What's your second statement?
As a child, I had a pet monkey named Cephas.
My first reaction is that's false, but that could be true too.
That's true.
All right, then so your mom and your pet monkey. Okay, what's your third fact?
January 28th, 2011 was named Lynne LaMaster Appreciation Day in Prescott, Arizona.
I think that one's true.
I do too.
Or it should be true.
I do too.
That's pretty specific.
Yeah, if it isn't, then you and I need to lead the campaign, Bo, for that to be the case.
You said January 28th, right?
Yes.
Either that or she was appreciated on January 27th and she's just trying to stump us.
He overthinks.
Well, you have to analyze this stuff, no? You don't like that?
Yeah, no, that's okay. So,
golly, I think I know which one's false.
Mother, Miss Glendale, and then Miss Arizona, and then, or the pet monkey, Cephas. Cephas, which is a great name, by the way.
Where would that name come from? We can't ask her because it may give us a clue. Why do you think it was named Cephas?
I don't know.
It's a funny name, though, right?
It is.
Okay.
And
don't know what it
she
means.
Spells it here. It's not some sort of biblical Greek version. This is a goofy version here.
Okay, I got mine.
Seefus.
I know which one is a lie.
Do you?
But do you have yours yet, or do you still need to?
I'm going to. Okay. Yes, I do. I have mine picked up.
All right. So now we just banter and goof off. Do you think we can both agree about the comment on June 28th, 2011? Did you say? Prescott
totally
noted
that
it was Lynne LaMaster appreciation. I do too.
Do you? Okay.
Okay. Let's start there. Was that true?
It was true.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
That was
well earned.
My birthday is actually January 27th.
Oh,
and
wow.
But there were other things going on the 27th, so they chose 28th
Oh,
instead.
that's great. And now, was that in connection with your role in the journalism for the city, or?
It was just the news that we've been covering, and a friend that was working with me, it was my 50th birthday, and so she wanted to do something special, so she arranged it for me.
That's incredible. That's a lot of fun.
I love that.
So are we going to agree on these other two, or are we going to differ?
Man, these are hard.
You want me to?
Okay, well,
I know the other truth.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't.
I don't, but I say I do.
Oh, okay. All right. My guess.
Don't answer yet. Go ahead.
Will split us here, maybe.
Yeah.
My guess is that the lie is the monkey.
I thought the lie was the monkey too. So you and I think alike.
Yeah.
So how should we ask her this question? Was your mom Miss Glendale?
Never.
Oh, man. She got us. You had a pet monkey?
I had a pet monkey. He's a squirrel monkey.
Wow.
He was. I don't have him anymore.
Right.
And he kind of ran through the house, but unfortunately he bit my mother a couple times, and she was allergic to tetanus shots, and so he was given away.
He was asked to leave.
He was he was tiny. He was about 6 inches tall. One time he was sitting on my dad's shoulder, and our cat was sitting in my dad's feet.
Yeah.
And the cat was just looking at him, like that would make a nice snack, And the monkey just ran down my dad's shoulder, slapped the cat in the face about 3 or 4 times, ran back up, started chattering at him, and the cat never looked at him again.
Oh, that's so. How did you get the name Cephas?
I don't know.
Somebody
gave him to us, and he was already named Cephas.
Cephas.
He came with diapers.
Oh man,
that's helpful.
We didn't ever use the diapers, but he did.
That's neat.
I'm afraid my parents fed him martinis out of ashtrays. That was not pretty. So
Pour me
anyway,
another one.
I love that.
So we actually ended up giving him away to somebody who owned a bar.
Really?
And he would run up and down the bar and steal the cherries and olives and stuff out of their drinks.
I know a joke like that, but I'm not going to say it. I'll tell you off there.
Anyway,
it's exactly. A guy brings a monkey into a bar, and he takes the olive, and he takes the cherry, and then he comes, and then the next time he takes the cue ball off the thing, and then I'll share the. I'm not going to share the punchline.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that'll
yes.
lower the rating of our podcast.
We don't want Lewis to
Yeah.
go blue on Lewis.
But yeah, he was cute, and I was fortunate. I had a lot of interesting little pets and stuff, and Cephas was one of them.
That's fantastic.
Well, Lynne LaMaster, Prescott eNews, you've been a champion of the community, and I'm so thrilled that you've gotten stories picked up nationally, and thank you for your support of Ronnie and Bo, and thank you for your friendship, and thanks for being with us today.
Well, thanks for having me, and it was a lot of fun. Let's do it again.
Sounds good. Thank you, Lynn.
What a great guest. What a good time with Lynne LaMaster. It's the Ronnie and Bo Show, brought to you by Prescott Realty, with 2 offices to serve, downtown Prescott and Williamson Valley, serving the greater Prescott area since 1991.
Yep, give them a call today at 928-499-8700.
Thanks for listening to the Ronnie and Bo Show, available on your favorite podcast provider. Please connect with the Ronnie and Bo Show on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and RonnieandBoShow.com. Send comments to RonnieandBoShow@gmail.com. This is your announcer speaking. I'm Shotgun Tom Kelly.